with Sharon, Kevil, founder and CEO of Forti Goods. Hi, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And I love to start our interviews off by asking everyone, do you remember the first time you smoked cannabis or you came into contact with cannabis? How did you find yourself in the cannabis industry?
Well, I don't remember exactly the first time, but I know it was in high school. I was probably 15 or 16 years old and grew up in a small town. I think that's a lot of people's story of, being introduced at a younger age. Um, and it's been sort of something that has been, you know, not a huge part of my life, but part of my life. Up until today. And it's something that over time, my life changed. I had a child, and with that comes the responsibility for storing safely. And so that's when the idea started percolating about furniture.
Nice. Yeah. And you have such a unique company. You design furniture that is discreet for cannabis consumers. Tell us a little bit about your background, your career history, and how that has helped propel you into the cannabis industry.
Sure. So I started as an interior designer. I worked as an interior designer for about 10 years, doing all different types of commercial projects. And then I started working for a national retailer, Kohl's, and was doing interiors, corporate interiors for them and retail interiors for them, and decided that I was interested in a new challenge and found that they were looking for a furniture designer. So thankfully, I was able to make that leap into furniture design. And I did that for 5 years. Came into some contact with some environmental and some social issues that just didn't square well with me. So I left to find something that was more sustainable and supported living wages for the people who were working on it. And eventually came up with the idea for Forti Goods furniture and decided to kind of start off on my own.
And you mentioned sustainability. What are some of the core values of Forty Goods?
So, we want to be sustainable, not just in terms of the environment. We want to be sustainable across the board. So for us, that means, we want to be around for a very long time. So we have to be profitable. We want to make sure that the people that are making the product are not being, exploited, for corporate, Forty's benefit. So we pay living wages. And then obviously the environment. The environment is a huge, issue right now. And thankfully, with the new administration, lots of things are happening to put sustainability and the health of the planet at the forefront, which is amazing. And so we're trying to do things like, source wood from managed forests. We are looking at doing things regionally. So right now, we don't ship any of our furniture overseas. We're staying, we're trying to locate all of the components that go within our pieces from the North American continent. So, with the exception of a few things like electronics, which, just really aren't made here anymore, most of what we have is sourced from the US.
Nice. That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about the process from inception to production. How do you come up with your ideas? How many different pieces of furniture do you have? What's a little bit of the creative process like?
Developing any product has kind of the same process, whether you're developing furniture or whether you're developing food or, whatever, clothing. And so we research first and we see kind of what's out in popular in home interiors, in North American home interiors. And then, we think about the function and, what types of pieces are they, entertainers, something like this? Are they coffee tables, side tables, nightstands? And really kind of come up with a balance of, different types of offerings that we're going to give. And then we develop a number of different silhouettes and shapes and things like that through the design process. And we just keep refining and refining. And eventually we landed on 8 pieces that we launched with, and, an accessory line as well. And yeah, then we start layering in things like finishes and making sure that we have options for any interior, whether you have a home that has light woods or you have a home that has darker woods, we have something that fits that aesthetic.
You mentioned a new administration, and there are, hopefully some good changes headed our way. As
Yes.
cannabis progresses and starts to become federally legalized or more states start to come online, how do you see the discrete furniture industry? Do you see a future there? I absolutely do. I would love some
Yeah,
discrete
no,
furniture.
definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
legalization, national legalization would be amazing. And as of yesterday, there was some news that the Senate is going to try to push, federal legalization, which would be incredible. And beyond the social justice issues of, well, not beyond, but getting people out of prison for something that has been legal in a number of states, almost 2/3 of the states, is really important. And I think that's the first step in doing something like that. There are a lot of issues with financial. I mean, even myself, I never thought that furniture that was used to safely store cannabis would be deemed drug paraphernalia. Um, and so, having to have different payment processing for even, businesses like mine or other cannabis adjacent businesses, it really leaves a lot of innovation and a lot of people kind of outside looking for, it's difficult. It's difficult. And so, legalization is going to bring a lot of things for a lot of people, hopefully freedom for a lot of people, and some better financial regulations, or I should say more relaxed financial regulations for a lot of people that are in this business. And then finally, it's going to allow a lot of people and a lot of parents to kind of come out of the shadows and be able to say, yes, I am a cannabis user, and it helps me in my day to day, and there is a wellness benefit to it.
Yeah, federal
Um,
legalization. I mean, hopefully we can gain, freedom, not just for people in states that aren't recreational now, but those sitting in prison that are still there for drug convictions where their case hasn't been reviewed in 20 years. Um,
yes, exactly.
absolutely. In your personal journey with this company, where do you see yourself in a year and then maybe even 5 years down the road?
So, I mean, this year, obviously, we're trying to get the word out about our furniture. We're trying to build our following and gain customers and really hear more, beyond our initial development process, really start hearing from users and understanding what it is that they love about our product, and what it is that they would innovate. So over the next, year or two, we're looking at innovation and different ways that we can go out and meet our customers. Hopefully with the vaccine will allow people to start coming back together again, which would be amazing. We can't wait to start being able to interact with people and kind of demo furniture one-on-one, or in groups. So looking forward to that. And then, from there, we're looking at just developing more products that are, basically solutions for parents and connoisseurs to be able to store, showcase, and safely lock up their stash.
Love it. Safely lock up. I like that.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite piece of furniture you want to talk about?
I do have the Laverne here. So this is something that we wanted to do that was more of a um, just sort of a nod back to kind of a old school vintage liquor cabinet with the drop down door. So this one is one of our prototypes, but it has the soft open hinges. So you can store larger things like glassware inside of the main drawer. And then the bottom drawer, I think this one's locked right now. Yeah. So it's app enabled, and, we just I don't know if you can hear that or not, but unlock. And then you can get into the drawer. You can see the lock latch back here, and then close it up and lock it up again. And then it's locked, it's secure.
That's awesome.
So
I've never
yeah.
seen app-enabled furniture. That is truly innovative. That's amazing. Perfect for people with kids, small kids.
Yes, yes. And the other nice thing about it is, all of our pieces come standard with at least one lock. Some of our bigger pieces come with two, but you can expand it at the time that you purchase it and get locks for all of the doors and drawers. Or if you want to at a later date, you can purchase one and add it on later. It's a really simple process. And what we've actually done is located where all of everything needs to be attached to the piece of furniture, so that, if you're adding something a year down the road, you don't have to do any math. You just have to like find the little holes, screw in, the latch and screw in the lock, and it's done. And plug it into the controller, but then it's done, and you have an additional locking drawer or door to put stuff in.
Nice. Then you're ready to rock and roll that joint.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned accessories. Is that
Yes.
part of the accessories? Does the add-on locks, or are there other accessory items in the line?
We have other accessory items too. We have, like rolling trays, and we have these, let's see if I can show you these here. So we have basically it's like a block system. So you can put your jars of flour, gummies, or smaller things like concentrates. And then we have things like our, let's see here, our flour blocks. So you can put different, jars of flour that you get from the dispensary in the jars that they come in, or in your own jars. And then we have things for smaller blocks for things like concentrates. They come in a couple of different colors, or you can get them in solid wood. And then we have, this one's my favorite because as a parent, my consumption method changed to something much more quick and convenient when I had a child who's, running around. So I kind of made a switch to cartridges and edibles, because it's much easier than, firing up a bong when you have a kid in the other room. So I use my cartridge block all the time. I do still have some flour for vaporizer, so I have some flour blocks in the house as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This is really exciting to see, and I love it. I love the idea of helping to normalize the cannabis industry, really build a new perception for it. It's not the days of the devil's lettuce anymore. It's the days of our mothers and sisters and aunts and uncles consuming it, and we want to do it. We want to be clean about it. We don't want to be seen as grungy stoners, and I really feel like your furniture helps put that perception in place. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So if folks want to reach out, if they want to find you, if they want to buy your furniture, can you give us some resources on where they should go?
Sure. So right now we are exclusively online. You can buy at www.fortigoods.com, and that's FORTI goods.com. And you can find us on social media as well. Most of our handles are at Forti Goods. And yeah, reach out to us there, or at hi@fortigoods.com, and let us know what you think.